Welcome to Lessons Learned. I'm Sherry and this is Finish It Friday, where we see what I've got finished and what you have got finished. So stick around for the quilt show that we'll have here for the next few minutes. So let's get started with what I got finished this week, and that is the Scrappy Celebrations got long armed. And I used a pattern called Audrey, and it's just kind of a large daisy with some trailing leaves on it. I know it's kind of hard to see from this distance, but yeah, it's just kind of a little happy trailing daisy leafy thing on there, and it went really well, especially with my white on white, because it kind of had that same sort of pattern in the white on white. So this is completely finished now, and I use this backing here, which I got from Sewell. It was a 108, and you saw me cut that up on Wednesday for our long arm video. Go back and watch that if you're interested in seeing how to load a quilt on the Moxie XL. And so that's what I did, and I took my scraps, and I had already made the binding. I did a Scrappy binding all the way around, and I wish I would have used a little more pink, but I couldn't find the pink when I was making my binding, so that's all that got in it. I did find it later though. So anyway, it looks fine. It's scrappy, and so I just thought the binding needed to be scrappy too. With that, I had left over some backing, and I put that on this panel, which I had done this a few months back. I think I made a video out of this where I put the borders and I did the piano key second border on here. This is not bound yet. I haven't got to that yet, but I think I'm going to use this same binding that I used for the backing on that. I think that'll work well, and I might actually run it 45 degree on the diagonal. What is that called? Bias binding. So this has the quilt pattern. You can probably see it pretty good on that white. It is called Paisley Maze, and I've used that on something else recently, but I really like it, and I thought it went well with the theme of this. So now I am ready for summer, which I don't think I have. Do I have a spring? Yeah, I have a spring wall hanging, don't I? That's the one with the birds. So now I have a summer. My fall one is the apples, and then I put the Star of Wonder on for the winter. So I am all set. I just need to get this bound. Another one that I threw on that was small, and I did this during scrap timber last year. This is using up jelly roll strips, leftover jelly roll strips, and I just did an on point square. And if you remember, I wasn't crazy about how this turned out because you can't really see the jelly rolls with the squares that I used, but it's okay. It makes a nice little feminine type of quilt, and I put a rose pattern on it. Let me see if you can see it on the back. It's just kind of like a bud, a rose bud with some swirls around it. So that is that, and I also pieced my backing because I needed a little bit more, so I stuck a piece of this kind of matching fabric down one side. Actually, this would probably be the top of it, so the top of the back would look like this. And I know you're saying, would you just keep that still so I can see it? I don't know why I do that. There you go. I think it's 48 by 48 roughly. So it would make a nice table topper or a baby quilt, probably. And it is not bound yet either. So those are my 3 long arming projects that I did. I have 2 more ready to go, small ones. I was very ambitious and decided I would get all my small quilt top backings made and put together. So just a sneak peek, I have 2 patchwork quilts that I'm going to quilt up, and they are baby size as well. So maybe I'll finish those up this weekend and then get into something big earlier next week. And another motive that I had for doing the smaller projects is I have a lot of bobbins that have just a less than half amount of thread wound on them, and I wanted to use them up, so it's easier to do that on smaller quilts than on bigger ones, in my opinion. Not that many times that you have to change your bobbin out, so killed two birds with one stone. So let's get into your finishes for this week. The first one I want to show is by Diane, and it's a bird panel quilt. Here's what she says. In a September video, you showed a bird panel quilt in your home, and it inspired me to pull out the bird panel my sister gave me and start making a lap quilt. The same week, a friend requested an item for a fall fundraiser for a local, and the bird theme seemed perfect. We were both pleased and grateful for the funds that we raised from the quilt raffle. Thanks for all your inspiration, ideas, and tips on your weekly videos, Diane. Thank you, Diane. I love your bird quilt, and you're thinking of my spring wall hanging. The bird panel quilt that I did, it was different than this one, but I love this one too. And I like how the tree kind of looks like it's behind the window pane. So I don't know if it was one whole panel or if it was already in squares and you just reconnected them with the black sashing. Either way, it looks great, and I love that blue and black mottled sort of border you put on there. Very pretty. And it pulls out those blue jays and bluebirds in there very well. Great, and it's what we can do with our quilt projects is use them as fundraisers. So great job there. The next one I have is from Lori, and she says, "Hi Sherry, I finished these coasters. They are made from charm packs. Yes, the top one is Anne of Green Gables from Riley Blake. The next one down is Spring Gardens, also from Riley Blake. Lastly is the Emily Bell collection from Liberty Fabrics. The bottoms of all the coasters are black, or the other side are black, and these were easy to make. It only took a few minutes each. Love your channel, Lori in Washington State." Thank you, Lori. Thanks for watching, and I love your coasters. And of course, what would be my favorite? Anne of Green Gables. Those are all lovely. I love them all. Great job. The next one is Karen. She says, "Hi Sherry, I recently finished this from our Quilt Guild. We donate children's quilts to various organizations. The pattern is by Villa Rosa called Lover's Lane. It was fun and easy to make. Thank you for your channel and always inspiring us to sew a little each day." Thanks for watching, Karen. And I love your little quilt here with the pinks, light pinks, medium pinks, and a little bit of orange there. I love that. And there again, donation quilts get the job done, doesn't it? Very cute. The next one is Cheryl. She says, "Good morning, Sherry. Here is a top I've been slowly working on since 2017. Loved making all the 6-inch blocks. I'm sure my piecing skills improved along the way. I did it in Scrappy red, blues, browns, and creams. The patterns came from a sew-along by Next Step Quilt Designs. I really enjoyed this challenging experience, although some days I didn't have the brain power to work on it. But it's a finished top, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. Next step is to get it quilted." Cheryl from Ontario, Canada. Yes, Cheryl, I was looking really closely at your quilt, and it looks like each one of your blocks within the sashing is like a grouping of 4 patches. So each of the 4 patches in a block is your 6-inch block, is what I understand. And looks like you did a block of just about every style there is. So that's a great sampler. And your color coordination went together really well too. The next items I have are from Dolores, and Dolores is still busy making a lot of things. She made this zipper bag from a panel, and I made this along with her. She was kind of teaching me a little bit about how to install a zipper in a zipper pouch, and mine did not turn out near as good as hers. But this was a panel, so you just cut out the pieces that were printed on the panel, and then there was a set of instructions there with it. The instructions we found were less than stellar. They didn't really give us the instructions we needed in some parts of it, but she got hers done and it looks great. The other quilt that you see here is one of her neighbor's quilts. Dolores has been quilting up some quilt tops from her neighbor's late mother-in-law. She left a lot of quilt tops unquilted, so Dolores has been helping her to quilt those, and you all have seen a lot of them, well, all of them so far that she's done. This is the fourth one, and I find this one quite striking with the stripes used in all different directions. Dolores did have a challenge there because it wouldn't lay flat, but she did her meander quilting that she does on that, and it lays nice and flat now. And of course I love those pink coral wide strips in between each block there. It looks really good. So this is truly a vintage quilt, and she got that all quilted up and bound, put a label on it, and it is going to a member of the family. Also, Dolores has been busy making zipper bags. She did this set of zipper bags. There's 6 of them here. She used patchwork for the front and then used some plain colors for the back, which is perfect, and made those up right quick. It's a really easy pattern that she found online, and I'm going to try that here pretty soon, I think. Okay, that looks like what we have for this week. Keep sending in your photos according to the guidelines. You guys are doing a great job. We love seeing your finishes each week. It's very, very motivating and gives us a lot of ideas and inspiration for projects that we might want to start or finish. Some of us have had some projects around for a few years, like in the case of, was it Cheryl here, that she had hers for since 2017. That's 6 years. That's not a terrible amount of time, but sometimes we do tend to put some of the projects on hold indefinitely, and then you see a show like this and you're inspired to get it back out. So that's what I hope to accomplish with these episodes of Finish It Friday. So keep sewing and keep going through your whips and your UFOs until you're caught up and you can start some new ones. So great job, everyone. Thank you very much for sending these in, and I will be back here on Monday for Monday Quilt Chat, and then also Wednesday I'll have another installation in the long arm series. So get something out this weekend to sew, finish up your sewing that you need to get done before the end of the year, like I'm trying to do, and we'll be able to start fresh in January. Lots of plans for next year, so stay tuned for those here towards the end of the month. I'll be talking to you about that. All right, have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.